Hello everyone, we are back with another session, and you already know how this goes. I am going to jump right into the first game, which is Sal, and this is a 2D platformer that plays similar to the Mario Bros games on the NES. You have to defeat all the enemies in the stage, grab this key, and then go through the door in order to complete the stage. So the way this plays is like you pretty much attack the enemies very similar to the classic Mario Bros games, where you jump up to punch the ground underneath them, and then once they're dazed, you just run into them to knock them out. So it's a pretty chill game in my opinion. It's very nostalgic to classic games. It's very simple and it's not difficult. Next is Slippers the Porcupine, and this game is so primitive in my opinion. There's barely any animation, and all you do is jump and dash. The dash itself is mostly useless, and it's uneasy on the eyes since it's just all janky. Like, this whole game is just very jank. So it played very simple. I won't say that it is a horrible game, but it does forces you into full screen, and I had no idea how to get out of this thing once I was done playing. So the only way I was able to exit this game was by opening my task manager, and I had to shut it down. So it was a bit annoying, having to do all of that. And I will just say that overall, you can just skip this game because it's really nothing special. Next up is Socket, which is a returning entry to this Sage. And I remember playing this one before and enjoying it. So it plays very similar to the first Punch-Out on the NES and Famicom. And you have your left and right punches. You can hit your opponent high and low, and when you hit them enough times, you can build meter to land a devastating punch that is very similar to the Punch-Out's Star Punch. So you'll have to learn your opponent's moves and evade their attacks to win the fight. So you're probably not going to win against your opponents your first time around. Just learn their strategies. Literally just Punch-Out. So like I said, if you like the Punch-Out series, especially the first one on NES and Famicom, you are definitely going to enjoy this game. Even some of the tunes and cutscenes in this you can see are heavily inspired. Sondro Gomez is a returning entry to this Sage, and it is a retro-themed 2D platformer. The game is about Sondro Gomez, who is a musician and adventurer who is actually in debt to this masked figure who appears to be like some plague doctor type of guy. And he basically tells Sondro that he can pay his debt off if Sondro goes out and gets these orbs that are scattered around the land. So Sondro departs to go and get the orbs, and the gameplay is just really, really nice in my opinion. It plays like Castlevania, and it has this catchy tune on the opening stage, and there's all these different power-ups that you can collect, and you can switch in between them by hitting the select button on your controller, because yes, this game does have controller support. So in addition to Sondro having a nice moveset, there are actually two additional characters that you can play as well. One being Wanya, who is a bit more limited than Sondro, but she has a pistol to hit enemies from long range. And there's also these two robots that work together in a Sonic and Tails fashion. And one looks like a bird who can fly for a brief period of time, and the other is this drill-like machine that can burrow underground. So this demo sadly only has one level. Even after all of this time, I remember playing it before, it still only has one level, but it was just very enjoyable. The level design is great, and this is actually my favorite game from this session, and it's just one of my favorite games from this year's Sage. So I would definitely say give this one a try, and I hope that the devs continue to work on this one and just continue to make some progress with this game. Next is Space Wing War 2, which is a spaceship shoot 'em up game, and it's like a 2D side-scroller with enemies shooting at you as you fly through the level. So this game feels a bit more fair compared to other games of this similar genre. So this isn't going to completely cover your screen with bullets and unfair boss fights. So you can also switch between a few different weapons, all of them being very useful and unique. So what I like about this game is that even though all of these weapons are very good and useful, the default blaster is still the best, having great range and damage. So this game was okay. It was more balanced, than anything. as far as the difficulty goes, it was just very chill, you know. It also has controller support and well-designed menus for choosing your settings. So I definitely recommend this one. Next up is the Super Freaks 1 Ultimate Edition. This game is a 2D platformer and it is also a returning entry to Sage. So I remember playing this game a while back, but I can't remember much about it outside of the colorful characters. So this one is very simple. You simply go from the left side of the screen to the right to reach the end of the stage, just the way I like it. So you can jump on enemies to destroy them and get points. Although I'm not exactly sure if there was another way to attack the enemies, because all I did was jump on them or just skip them altogether. So you can also wall kick as well to advance in the stage. And there have been so many games lately at this stage in which you could just use wall kick. So I guess, like, you know, wall kicking is like the wave now. So I didn't actually play this game much beyond the first level, but it was okay from what I've played. Next is Strato Scruffy, which is a shoot 'em up spaceship like game, and this one was in development for 14 years. So it is now finally complete, and it actually plays pretty great for a 14-year-old game. So, you know, I wasn't really expecting this at first because, you know, it's being really old and the art style looks like it was made in Microsoft Paint. So this game opens up with a boss fight, and it is a good way to get used to the controls. The way this game plays is actually a bit different to other games of this caliber because it doesn't have an auto scroll in the levels. So you can actually play this game at your own pace. It also has controller support. And what I do like about this game is that you can fire to both the front, in front of you, and behind you, you know, having your character face either left or right. But you can also hold like the left trigger to kind of like have a strafe motion, so you can back up while still firing forward and facing forward. So it's really good the way it controls. I love it. So this was made by the Super Freaks devs. So congrats to them on the completion of their game. You love to see it. So with that being said, that is going to do it for me on this video. We are almost at the end of Sage Indie Showcase, my people, and then we'll be moving on to the fan games. So I want to thank all of the devs for their submissions, and you guys and girls, my supporters, for sticking around and sticking with me. Thank you for all the support. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I hope to see you all soon. Take care of yourself.